Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is not going to be really much of a repair, but this is going to be more of just an explanation for people that are having this issue and cannot find any information on Google. I recommend if you have issues with this transmission cracking issue, I'd recommend getting on the Facebook group for Kubota, and there's a lot of helpful people on there. So anyways, what happens is this is a 2014. This is a RTV 1100c with a cab. What happened to this unit was the transmission case cracked. And from what I understand, this is from a casting defect in the transmission case. They have an updated part number, which I'm told is supposed to be stronger. But what happens is you can see the bearing blows out and it loses support. So right here is where a transmission shaft is supposed to sit, but it can no longer sit there because it is blown out. So I'll show you what shaft that is. And it is this one right here, and I actually need to get a new bearing for it. And I ended up having to replace this gear. All the other gears looked fine, but you can kind of hear it, and you can look, it has a bunch of wobble in it. So I'm going to replace that bearing, but that supports this, and this right here is the gear. So this is what slides forward for forward reverse. This is the main shaft going to the transmission, to the rear differential. So what happens is it loses mesh. I was mainly having this issue in reverse. All the other gears seemed okay actually, so it was just reverse for me. Not to say that it can be any other gears also causing issues, but that's what I was experiencing, just a clicking in reverse. So machine operated fine otherwise. And for this unit, actually, it's a separate, the hydraulic and gear oil are separate. So this front part is gear oil and the rear part is hydraulic. So it's not all driven off hydraulic fluid. Just wanted to put that out there. But basically you have to get this new case. I have it over here. I have all the new seals. The case comes bare with no seals or anything. You can see this is what it's supposed to look like. But unfortunately it got blown out. So I transferred all the shafts over. I ordered all this from Meshix. They're the only ones that really had anything in stock. This case was, I think, $405, new out the door. I can try to leave a part number in the description for this case if you're having the same issue. But just keep an eye out if it was to change or something, but I'll put it in there just so y'all can have it. I'm not sure what other models this affects. I know it affects the 1100. I don't know if it's a 900 or not, but I know for sure this one is affected because all the other ones I've seen were cab models. Transmission removal, not too bad once you figure it out, but figuring it out is pretty difficult. I can kind of walk you through it just so you have an idea of what's all involved. First thing is you got to take the fenders off. These are the fenders right here. Those are removed. Once those are removed, what I did was I took off this rubber on each side that kind of guards everything. After that, I took off the control arms. As you can see here, both control arms and both shocks. And then after that, you can disconnect all the brake hoses. Not all the brake hoses, there's one brake hose line going to the transmission. Disconnect that and all the cables associated with it. That's the only thing bad about this transmission, is it has a bunch of cables going to it compared to a typical CVT that just has one. And plus it has hydraulic hoses and all that other BS. You also have to take the bed off, and also the hydraulic cylinder and the hydraulic cylinder dump bed bracket that bolts down there, where those, right down there where those two bolts are. So once you take that off, you will take your subframe off, and for this there is two main bolts on the front. I can show you real quick. There's a bolt here, bolt there, And then you're gonna have 3 bolts at each one of these on each side. There. And then you're gonna have 4 of them here on the back of the receiver hitch. And then there's one underneath the receiver hitch too. So that would make 5 bolts on the back. And then there's one more up here in the front that you have to remove. I think that goes to the bracket for the, I can't remember where it exactly went actually. I believe it was part of the bracket for the hydraulic cylinder, but I can't remember. Once you do that, you'll just have this bracket up here to support the transmission, and then you can undo the starter and all the bolts on the bell housing, and then after that this transmission pops right out. It's very heavy, so make sure you have a jack or some help to get it out. This was the last thing I undid, was these bolts up here. So once you get that done, it pops out pretty easy, and its job is not really too bad, especially if you don't have to access the hydraulic part of this unit. It's just really time consuming. So you know, if you don't feel like doing it, you probably should pay someone. But if you're pretty mechanically inclined, it's definitely a good weekend job. It's definitely going to take probably more than 1 day to do it, especially if you're by yourself like I am. So just keep that in mind. And then also make sure you go through the parts diagrams to get all the new seals you need. There's quite a few little ones, don't miss them. There's one down there that goes in between the cases. Each one of these shafts, go ahead and get new seals for those. And yeah, just a lot of small stuff. But if y'all have any questions about it, I'll be happy to answer them down below. But like I said, I just wanted to give like a quick just walkthrough of this issue, just because no one's really covered it. So like I said, any questions, feel free to ask. I usually get back pretty quick. If you have any other questions I can answer, go to the Facebook group. They help a lot. And you'll see this is actually a fairly common issue. I did not know this was a common issue until I got into the Facebook group, and I actually saw one the other day on my local marketplace that had the same exact issue. So definitely more common than you would think. This machine, for everyone wondering, has 5,800 miles and about 1,500 hours. So definitely a little higher. But it's been, from what I understand, it's been maintained really well. So it's not really a maintenance thing, it's just a bad design kind of thing. So if it happens to you, don't beat yourself up over it. It's just a bad design on Kubota's part. Hopefully this updated case will fix it, and it'll be good to go. I'll stop rambling on. I don't like to talk a whole lot, but like I said, any questions, feel free to ask, and I think that's all. Thank you.